Classroom of the Elite Season 2 is kinda rushed. Let me explain. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Classroom of the Elite, it originated from a light novel written by Kiyotaka Saga, I'm probably saying that wrong, and later was adapted into a manga and a 12-episode anime on July 12th of 2017. I watched Season 1 at around 2020 or something. After I watched the whole season, I really fell in love with it. Spoiler alert incoming for those who want to see it. Essentially, the story follows a boy named Ayanokoji Kiyotaka, who enrolls in the... This is a really long sentence I'm about to say. He enrolls in the school known as the prestigious Tokyo Metropolitan Advanced Nurturing High School. Yeah, imagine that's the school your dumb self went to. However, this school is no ordinary school. To make this incredibly brief, the basic plot is 4 different classes have to compete together to reach the top class, Class A, where if they graduate from there, their life is essentially set. There's way more to it, but I'll leave that for you to find out. Unless you don't care, but then why the heck are you still here? Anyways, this is a psychological thriller anime that really makes you think, as all the characters are always doing big brain plays, especially the main protagonist, who is arguably one of the smartest characters in anime. Though in the show, he hides his true powers, which just makes it that much more interesting. Now, I spent way too long recapping this, so I'm just gonna get on with the actual point of the video. This Season 2 is very rushed. The first main problem was the amount of episodes they received the budget for. This anime is essentially the embodiment of just read the light novel, bro. I mean, I can't really deny the fact that the light novel is better. Lurch? I'm not gonna pretend I know how to pronounce that. But the company that, or whatever, the animation studio that made this only received the budget for 13 episodes this season, with more than half of those episodes being outsourced to a different animation studio. That leading for some of the animation to be, well, not as clean as others. Honestly, it's not much of a problem to me, but some people seem to be pretty annoyed by it. Though, in my opinion, 13 episodes to cover 4 volumes is simply not enough. And that's exactly what this season is doing. This level of rushed content has led to some characters feeling a little underdeveloped and the story seemingly a little bit empty at times. Not to say it's that bad, but I think standing on its own, it's a great show. But as far as comparing it to its original counterpart, it feels a little half-baked at times. Though I've seen some reaction channels who haven't read the light novel still mention the weird animation and rushed plot. I think Season 1 shared some of those problems, but Season 2 has gotten it a little worse. Though that's just my own opinion. Either way, let me give you some examples to some rushed elements for context. After Season 2 and 3 were announced, I started reading the light novel, and I'm currently just starting Volume 9. So I have now read all the original source material for Season 2. As it only covers Volume 4 through 7. So for starters, each arc seems to be condensed to 3 episodes. It took me around 4 hours in total to read each volume, and this anime covers them in about 1 hour. So safe to say, some things are a bit faster paced. Let's start with the beginning of Season 2, the Zodiac exam arc. Well, right off the bat, the anime changed the different groups in this school's special test for zodiac signs to planets. Now, that honestly changed nothing in the story. Now, because of that, you might be thinking, why would they change it? Well, I'm not quite sure, but I believe this is due to the fact that in the anime they changed the amount of students in each class. In the book, there is about 40 students in each class, while in the anime it's only 20. So, I think they had to change the amount of groups in this test, leading them to change it to planets. Anyways, I don't want to go too much into that as I'm not quite sure about the specifics for what I'm saying on that subject. Something I wanted to point out, in the anime, Ayanokoji is seen as emotionless. However, there is a slight difference in his personality compared to the light novel. I would say in the books, he's not emotionless, but rather expressionless. The difference may sound slight, but there is a solid difference there. Ayanokoji has emotions in the light novel, but he just doesn't show them on the outside. He puts on a front, one that's created off of pure logical thinking. Ayanokoji is still a very cold dude, but he's not a robot. And the main difference in this fact from the anime comes from his inner monologues. In the light novel, we get to hear his every thought, while in the anime, we only see that expressionless public side of him, and his monologues are reduced to one-liners. This has led to some cool moments of character development, or just simply showing us what he feels to just be removed, which in some cases isn't a bad thing, but I still feel like adding some of those cut scenes would add more impact to future arcs. But now I want to mention when I first really felt how rushed this was, and that was the sports festival. Or more specifically, episode 5. In this episode, they essentially skipped through most of the actual sports scenes of a sports festival. Yeah. To make this really quick, here are some examples. They cut out a race between Horikita and Ibuki, which acted as a rematch from their previous fight in the island exam. And they also skipped over many details of Horikita's race with the girl from Class C who bumped into her. More specifically, in the light novel it was mentioned how the Class C girl continuously called out Horikita's name as they ran. That then led Horikita to keep looking back at her. So that way, after they collided and Ryuen beat up the girl's leg, that meant when the school looked back at the recording, they were inclined to believe the Class C girl rather than Horikita. This was due to the fact that they kept seeing Horikita look back as if she was planning to try and crash into the girl on purpose. They also eliminated a scene where they're playing a game where you have to pull someone's bandana off their head, and Ryuen put gel on his headband, leading them to not be able to pull it off of him. My point is, they could have made that way more interesting and last longer at the same time. And obviously, a lot of people were upset at the fact that they cut the ending scene from Volume 5 from Episode 6. For anime-onlys, I won't spoil it, but for the light novel readers, you know what scene I'm referring to. And that taking it out would potentially change a ton of future arcs. That being said, I don't know, maybe they'll add it in the future or something. Now, all of the things I said beforehand were recorded right after Episode 6 released. Now, at the current time of recording this part, we're on Episode 9. And to be honest, it did get a lot better. I won't lie. The last 2 episodes have felt more like Season 1 did. That's not to say things aren't cut, and things couldn't be better, but it seems to be that Season 1 budget is returning as we're now heading into the final volume of this season. And that scene. For anime-onlys, I won't spoil what that scene is, but I'm just gonna say Volume 7 was full of hype, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it in the anime. With all that being said, I still love Classroom of the Elite. I love the light novel, and I love the anime. Could the anime have been better? Yeah, it could have. Though, have the last couple episodes been better? In my opinion, yes, they have. But I'm not trying to send hate to anyone. Whether this is the best adaptation or not, it's the one we got, and I enjoy it for that. It's just like I enjoyed the books. It's not necessarily even the studio's fault. Look, my point is, while Classroom of the Elite Season 2 may be more rushed in my opinion, and may have some flaws, enjoy it for what it is. Even if it's not as good as the light novel for most. I think it's still a great anime. Anyways, thank you all for hearing me ramble on. I love Classroom of the Elites, and I love you guys. Bye.